What
It's like how food is.
Where?
It's very good.
Oh yeah.
Come on, a nice day. Right, put your hands up if you are a United fan. Okay. Put your hands up if you support another club.
Nobody dares.
Who do you support, sir?
West Ham.
West Ham. West Ham.
We won't talk about West Ham.
Right. Right, well, yeah. You're very welcome, sir. You're very welcome.
I've got Carol here, look. It's Carol.
Liverpool.
He is only 5.
Well, I'll let you off.
Stephen comes.
No, you're doing very well at the moment, aren't you? Yeah, doing very well. 7 wins out of 7. Wish we were doing that well. Anybody support a club from abroad? No? Oh.
Well, yeah. I suppose I do as well. I support Sydney FC in Australia.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Do you come from Australia?
Yes.
Are you living here?
No, I'm just here for a holiday. But yeah, I support Manchester United, but also Sydney FC in the A-League.
How long are you here for then?
4 weeks, or almost 4 weeks.
Have you just come over, or have you been here a while?
I've been here for 2 weeks already, so I've been to London and to Wales and to Edinburgh, and now I'm here.
You've got about, are you enjoying it?
Yes, fantastic.
First time over?
Yep.
Do you know anybody over here?
I know a few friends, but I've travelled over by myself, so it's a good trip.
I'll enjoy the tour.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Did you?
Yes, I'm very similar. Melbourne City.
Melbourne City.
Part of Australia.
Is that where they film Neighbours?
Yes, and well, Melbourne City's now been taken over by Manchester City.
Oh God!
So we're in a
Manchester City. Who's that?
that little club on the corner down the road.
City. Apparently, aren't they somewhere in the Arab Emirates?
Me and barrels of oil a day.
Anyway, whoever you support, wherever if you come from today, you are very welcome at Old Trafford, the home of Manchester United, and the biggest football league ground in the UK. I say league ground because, of course, Wembley is bigger, but that's not a league ground. In fact, it's not even a football stadium. Well, it is a football stadium, but of course they have other sports as well. So does anybody know the capacity of Old Trafford? Very good. Just under 75,000. Manchester City, 55. Liverpool, 55. Next biggest after Old Trafford's Tottenham's new stadium, 62,000. So we're quite a bit bigger. In fact, if you think on the terms of one of the smaller clubs in the Premiership, Bournemouth, their capacity is about 11,500. So you could fit all their supporters just in this stand and have, well, you fit them in twice over just in this one stand, and you still have room to spare. Because just this one side of Old Trafford will accommodate well over 20,000 people. Okay. So it's on 3 levels. It's called the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. We renamed it that in 2011 when our most successful manager had been here for 25 years. Okay. So the smallest stand is directly opposite. That's the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. Have we all heard of Bobby Charlton?
Yeah.
Famous player for Manchester United, played for United his whole career. And of course he was a World Cup winner with England in 1966, the only time that England have won the World Cup. And Sir Bobby has now been at the club for 63 years. He's still here and he's a senior director these days. Okay. Comes to every game still with his wife. Still a passionate football supporter. He is Mr. Manchester United, basically. Over to your right, that's the famous Stretford end where the really passionate, noisy fans sit on match days. It's where a lot of the singing comes from, a lot of the swearing, all sorts. That's where the noise is. And to your left is the East Stand, which isn't named after anybody or anything, but it does have the Adidas logo on the seats. We used to call it the scoreboard end, because at one time there used to be a large manual operated scoreboard at that end. That was taken down years ago now, and we have electronic scoreboards, one in each corner of the stadium. But it's always been known by the fans who've been coming here years and years and years as the scoreboard end of the stadium. I'll tell you a bit more about the pitch once we get closer to it. What do you think of it, by the way?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Like a
we've
carpet.
won awards year after year for that playing surface, and you can see why. Now 10 years ago, we probably had one of the worst pitches in the Premiership. But because of this new technology, which I'll tell you about in a bit, we now have probably the best pitch, certainly one of the best pitches in the Premiership. Old Trafford has two tunnels, two players' tunnels. One that we don't use anymore is on the halfway line, and the one that the players currently use is over in the far corner, the right-hand corner there. Again, I will tell you more about that once we get over there. Has anybody got any questions so far? No? Silence. Right, would you like to follow Ian downstairs and we'll carry on with the tour? I'll join you in a minute.
Just for that win. That's very often, is it?
It's raining, yes. We're in Manchester, of course it's raining. You've got all your pictures.
You can take photos wherever you like, but this isn't the best place.
Yeah.
Taking you to the best place next.
Just taking
Say
us
hi,
to the best
Carol.
place- best place next.
It's Carol, everyone.
Hi everyone.
It is lashing, it's horrible. I wasn't gonna film this.
Yes.
Don't wait for the lights. Go out to the pitch. Let you touch the pitch now.
Okay, everybody. So we're now on the concourse, just underneath the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. By the way, if you do have a media guide, I am putting further information on the media guide from time to time, so just glance at it occasionally. We'll have some information on there. That is if it's working all right. We've been having a few problems with them. One thing, as we go around the stadium that's very important, please do adhere to this. We do mention this, but people still wander off. It's very important that we all stay together as a group. If you disappear on a tour, you will get lost. You won't know where you are. Also, if you need to use the bathroom facilities on the way around, either tell Ian or myself that you need to go to the bathroom. Don't just disappear into a toilet, because when you come out, we'll have moved on, you won't know where we are, and again you'll be lost. So please do advise. All right, we'll stop the tour and wait for you. Right, we're going to head off in this. We can take photographs wherever you like on the tour. It's no issue. All right, follow me this way.
I'm going to picture of this dude.
Of course.
There's Carol's backpack, everybody. Carol's Disney backpack. So yeah, we've come on the stadium tour. I've done this before because I live very near. Steve is a big United fan from Michigan. So Carol and Steve have come over from Michigan. No coats, no. We have got coats in our bags, but so Steve really wanted to see the stadium, so I said I'd bring him to the stadium, so that's what we're doing.
Okay, everybody, I've just stopped here briefly just to mention Sir Alex Ferguson again, our most successful manager, the most successful manager in English football. 26 and a half years as manager of Manchester United, 38 trophies won. That'll never be achieved again. Certainly not one man at one club. Managers just do not stay long enough in the modern era. So that's a list of all the titles that Sir Alex won. Of course, he came to Manchester United in 1986 and he retired as manager in 2013. Very clever portrait of him there, made out of thread and pins, the cotton thread. The reason that was done, made out of cotton thread, I think, was because Manchester is famous for its cotton industry. 100 years ago, we were the cotton capital of the world, mainly because of our climate. We have a very damp, humid climate, perfect for spinning cotton. For anybody, normally if we have any Liverpool fans on the tour, we like to point out the Premiership trophy to them, show them what it looks like. Right, let's go.
Don't add any of these jokes to your presentation.
My jersey. I wasn't aware.
Your new suit.
Yeah.
He doesn't mess up.
No, they don't do tours on match days. The area's all closed off for VIP guests on match days. So you can do a semi-tour kind of, but it's not like this.
Okay, let's carry on. I'm going to take you to the ability platform now, which is used by our wheelchair supporters. It's a good place to take photos.
Don't know if the signal will hold up, guys, because obviously we're inside a very large building. But judging the changing room. Changing room's probably the best bit, I think, of the actual tour. I wasn't planning on scoping this, but I've seen this before, so it's free. Yeah, it's free. Steve very kindly paid for my ticket, so it was free for me as well. Going out to the pitch side now.
See how big now
I think it was
actually is.
£27, I think it is. So if you get, I've sat right at the top of there.
Have you really?
Yeah, it's really like, it's not very good to see because you can't see properly. You can't see the match properly from up there, but it's yeah.
What angle do you want in the background?
Just let Carol take some photos with Stevie. I don't remember what you paid.
Okay, so you can see just how big Sir Alex Ferguson stand is now, where you were sat before. You were sat where those people are now, in the S of Manchester, that's where you were before. You can see there are two tiers above. In fact, you're almost 50 metres off the ground if you look at the top of that top tier. And you can also see the flags on the roof. They are the nationalities of the international players who play for Manchester United. Okay, so we have their country's flag up there, whichever country they come from, come and play for the club. Unfortunately at the moment we haven't got any Australian flags. Mark Bosnich used to play for us, because he was Australian. So this is our disabled area for our wheelchair supporters. You can see this platform area here. Plenty of room for anybody who has to use a wheelchair bound. We also have blind or partially sighted supporters who use this area, and they use these seats at the front here. And they are given headsets to wear as well, so they can listen to the commentary of the game as it's being played. And the seats behind you, those seats in this corner of the stadium will be where the Arsenal supporters will be tomorrow. This is the away end of the ground, where the away supporters sit. 3,100 seats for away fans. So tomorrow, the Arsenal fans will be sat from that green fence there, all the way around to the second green fence over to your right. For cup games, FA Cup, we allow more than 3,100, we allow up to 9,000 supporters. And if it's a European game like the Europa League that we're in this season, they allow up to just under 4,000.
You can do that.
Yeah, something to do with that. For some reason,
Especially Hasselhoff from Belfast. In my view, in my opinion, the best seats are kind of. I've sat on front row seats, I've sat on top row seats, but front row seats are not as good as you think they would be. Because when you get down to the pitch, you'll see it's like curved. See how it's curved here? Yeah. So I've sat on front row seats before, and it's not a good view because you can only see the pitch like this. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good view. So you think, oh, I've got front row seats, but in reality,
You turn the things down,
yeah, you can sit there.
About 6 years ago now, 2013,
Thank you.
we installed that pitch. It's a hybrid Desso system pitch, Belgian design. Basically, it's 97% grass, 3% nylon fibre. Everything you see above the surface is natural grass grown here at Old Trafford. We grew this back in June, July. It only took about 5 weeks to regrow. What we do, we cut it all off at the end of the season and grow fresh grass. So everything you see above the surface is natural grass, but below the surface we have a web of nylon fibres, 3% nylon fibres, which are protecting the roots of the grass, strengthening the roots. So any rough play like sliding tackles that players do, in the old days it's quite possible to rip up the roots of the grass with the studs of your boots if you weren't careful. That sort of thing doesn't happen nowadays because the roots are held firm by these nylon fibres, this web system. So it will stand up to any rough play basically. So that surface should stay like that for 10 years before we have to replace it. So we're in I think we're about 7th year now. Another 3 years we might have to think about replacing it. But as you can see, it's in exceptional condition. You come back in February, it'll look just as good as it does today. You come back in February 10 years ago, it'll be a mud bath. Right, any questions? Oh, somebody asked me about the lights. See, there's some lights on the pitch during the winter months. In fact, if you come back in a month or so, that pitch will be full of those lights. They are halogen lamps hitting the grass into thinking it's summer. We don't get much sun in Manchester in the winter. In fact, we don't get much sun in Manchester full stop. So in the winter months, we have to have these lamps on the pitch to encourage the grass to grow. Okay? So that's why they are there. The goal areas, of course, probably get more damage than anywhere. So we tend to have the goal areas with the lamps on more often. Any other questions? Yeah. Well, it's partly that. The pitch is higher in the centre than it is at the sides. But we have 18 miles of water pipes underneath the pitch. Right. That's why it's raised mainly. What we have done is collected the rainwater. We get a lot of rain in Manchester. We collect that rainwater in a big storage tank and we use it for watering the pitch when it's needed. We also heat the water up in the winter months, so we never have a frozen pitch on match day. So it saves us postponing any games. Okay? So, good way of recycling. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to go behind the scenes now, but don't worry, we are going to come back out into the scenes again. We're going to take this to the press theatre now.
Okay, ladies and gents, joining now. Some of the group coming up right behind us.
Thanks for sit back. Thanks, Jackie. Will you sit back? Yeah. Our limited sunlight.
It's sad.
Sad but true.
You're hitting the pitch though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of the lower league games, they get games called off in the winter, you know, because of the snow and things, yeah. So.
Okay, we also have facilities at the back here for anybody with a disability, called the Fill-Down Ability Suite, where they can get something to eat and drink separate from the crowd, where they feel safer, particularly if you're in a wheelchair. Okay. Right, can we go this way?
Excited, Carol. I can tell you're excited by your face.
I'm excited for him. Don't worry, I'll make him go see something that I'm...
There'll be payback.
That's right.
Pies, your match day pies. Pies and chips. Very expensive as well, yeah. Food and drinks are very expensive. Look at the prices. Look at the prices for the food as well. Look. It's really expensive. Yeah, but that's just like crisps and like bags of chips or yeah, it's not cheap.
No.
Most people don't really eat here. They just kind of get something before or.
My bags are...
Mickey Mouse, get through. It's the press room.
Grab a seat. Okay, everybody. So you're now in the press theatre. This room has a bit of history to it. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Basically, today this room is only used for post-match interviews with the managers by the newspaper people. So after the game, each manager comes up here separately. Visiting manager first will sit in that seat there, and he will answer questions about the game for about 10 minutes or so. That's all. Then he will leave, and then United's manager will come up here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he will sit in that seat, and he will answer questions about the game. The press will sit where you are now, and like I said, they get about 10 minutes to ask the questions. Jose Mourinho, when he was manager, he came up here, and he would sit in that seat, and he would answer questions for 10 or 15 seconds. Of course, he didn't have a very good relationship with the press towards the end, but he did normally come to press conferences. This room used to be used for another purpose at one time. Any player who joined Manchester United, he would be introduced to the world's media in this room. This is where he would sign his contract. We don't do that anymore in this room because if United sign a player these days, it's such big news, you can get well over 200 press members descending on the club wanting to meet them. I think we can only sit about 63 people in here, so we tend to do new signings these days at our training ground, Carrington, which is about 6 miles from here. And that's really where the players spend all their time. We only see them here on match days, home matches like tomorrow. That's the only time they come to Old Trafford, unless they're doing some specific media coverage or making a personal appearance for something, you know. They don't do any training here at Old Trafford. Players who did sign in this room, I'll mention a few names to you. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed in this room as a player. He also came in here as Cardiff manager. And now he's in here as United manager, so he's come in this room doing 3 different jobs. Ruud van Nistelrooy signed in here. Dwight York, Andy Cole, Roy Keane, Teddy Sheringham. The last players to sign, Eric Cantona signed in this room. And the last player to sign in here was a Uruguayan player, Diego Forlan. Do you remember him? He was a prolific goal scorer, Diego, just not for Manchester United. Although he did score 2 against Liverpool at Anfield, so that makes him a legend. Is anybody celebrating anything today? Have we got any birthdays?
Yes.
Oh, we've got a birthday.
13. She's 13.
13. What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. Happy birthday, Rachel. You're welcome.
And this gentleman is 40 today.
You're 40?
This gentleman.
Are you a United fan?
Yes.
You are? What's your knowledge like of Manchester United?
A bit, so.
I don't speak good English.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, you make a good manager then. Right, would you like to go and see the VIP suite? This is where the directors get to.
Ask the person, yeah. He's going to try and ask if he can sit in the chair.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. That's good, but
I know, but you have to ask.
oh, and it's corded off. Yeah.
Camera in here that keeps an eye on it.
There he is. That's Carrington. Okay, everyone. MUTV on the television there. We do have our own TV channel. Well over 100 countries broadcast to. A lot of the big clubs in Europe these days have their own TV channel. Even Liverpool. Theirs is called the History Channel. Probably not on the Disney Channel. Anyway, there he is. It's still looking quite positive, isn't it? Let's hope we play on that tomorrow. We'll need to. On the balcony area here, this is where the directors of the club get together on match days. They have a pre-match meal on this balcony area again. You can see it's all set out with glasses at the moment. They have a bar as well behind you. The visiting directors, remember we are playing like Arsenal directors tomorrow. They will be invited into here to have a meal with the United direct. Okay. So it's all very friendly. Each director has at least 4 seats in the director's box. So we'll go out and have a look.
Sorry, I'm not reading comments, guys, because we're trying to concentrate on this. I'm here with Carol and Steve. Carol Humco. Steve's in his element. How's it going, Brenda? Thanks for the super hearts. Into the director's box.
We'll be back in here tomorrow night on this stand. The shoe is on here.
Yeah, I got tickets as well. That's where you want to be in the VIP bit. They get all padded seats, look in the VIP bit.
Oh yeah.
No, stand at the back.
I think this is one of the best views of the stage, probably the best, in my opinion. Just in front of the director's seats here, just behind you there. That's where the directors of Manchester United sit, and they are all named. So Bobby Charlton sits 4 rows back on the end and has 4 seats. Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, he is still with us. He's senior director these days, and he sits on the 5th row. And Sir Alex has 8 seats. He's a bit greedy. And if Sir Alex Ferguson wants 8 seats, he gets 8 seats, basically. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has 4 seats for his guests, and they sit next to Sir Bobby. Well, of course, Ole will be sat down there in the team dugouts during the game. We hope he is, anyway. The other brown seats on the other side are for the visiting directors, so that's where the Arsenal directors will be tomorrow. And the grey tabled area where those 2 people are at the moment, that is where the press sit during the game and they're writing their match reports, and also where the radio commentators will be. Because of course we have various radio stations covering the game, such as 5 Live, BBC, Talk Sport, other radio stations as well. Regarding TV coverage, of course the match tomorrow will be covered live on TV. I'm not sure if it's on BT or Sky. You know, Sky. Sky tomorrow. But the highlights will also be covered by the BBC. Oh, they probably won't be tomorrow, will they? Don't have match of the day on Monday, do we? No. But they will be recorded. The BBC will have a recording of the highlights as well. And they may show the goals as well, at least. The main television gantry where the cameras will be, just above your heads here. The front part of the gantry, there'll be 7 cameras up there, up to about 20 people on match day. Okay, including the match day commentator. And it's all open at the front. To get up there, we put a trampoline over these seats. Okay? No, we don't. We've got some steps at the back of the stand here, which lead to an enclosed roof area, and then they walk down across the roof. Down that, there's a staircase just up there, which leads down into the front of the gantry. Okay. I wouldn't like to be up there on a cold winter's day. It must get quite cold up there in the middle of February. We also have 2 television studios. The 2 grey boxes with the windows at the front and the corner there, they are TV studios. One is the MU TV studio, and the other one will be occupied by the broadcaster of the day, will it be the BBC, Sky Sports, where they do their interviews of pundits and ex-players and things like that. One other thing, we also have executive boxes all the way around the stadium. The window boxes, 155 of them. You can hire one for a season. You have to hire it for the season, not just for one game. And it will cost you a minimum of £20,000. Would anybody like one? Sorry?
Big one.
Anyone help me?
Everyone put some money in together.
The most expensive, the biggest boxes, which will hold 16 people, will cost you about £180,000 for the season. And they're over in that far corner, it says Republic of Mancunian. And some of the players have their own boxes for the families, and they do pay for them. Mind you, £20,000 to a player, it's less than a week's wage. So. Right, any questions? A member of his family if they want to, but quite often it's just left vacant in his memory. Yeah, out of respect. Mark Busby's children have also died now, but his grandchildren still get together.
Lots of grandchildren, one, two.
Yeah, they're usually up there, so that's usually left vacant, just in his memory. It's nice. Right, would you like to go and see the players' dressing room?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Come this way. This is the best bit of dressing rooms. Yeah. Sweaty dressing room. I think it'll be cleaned.
Is there a picture you're looking to try to get right now?
Me and you one.
I'll get one of you.
I'm going to get Sophie.
Oh, okay.
I might have to tuck you in. I have otherwise right. I'll break my arm.
Hey John, you been leading those meat pies along?
Yeah. Have you been hearing that?
Right, now I need to get into the dressing room, everybody. I need to use keys, so this is very important. Yeah, that we all stay together. Okay?
This is the best bit. Dressing room's the best bit. It's like all the shirts hanging up around them.
Got half the group.
Are you sure?
Bathroom break.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, as we've been going round, you've probably noticed these large doors as we've been going round. They're open about 15 minutes before the end of the game to allow the crowd to leave. It's a lot quicker getting the crowd out than it is getting them in, because of course we use turnstiles to get the crowd in, long narrow doors. But in an emergency, we can get everybody out of the stadium in well under 15 minutes. Usually around about 10 minutes. Leave it not, so it's right out of the
Steve's happy anyway, isn't he?
Are you okay? Yeah, you give a shit.
The year was built 1909, Brenda. Originally 1909. Carol here with me. Carol Humco.
Here. So we'll slowly make our way down. I think there's still a lady in the toilet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
I just don't see them as a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay, good, but
Yeah.
just not the level that you need to win titles.
There's too many like that, isn't there? That's the problem. Beer and cider. Roy, this is where you'll be stood. Look. That'll be where Roy will be stood. So going into the dressing rooms. Take my pen.
Skull.
Get it ready. There's no players here today. I'm surprised this connection has held up, guys.
This is where the players used to come in. They don't anymore. They used to come in through that door there. They'll be in the hotel tonight, out the way. Not with the families, they'll be locked away in a hotel. And prepare there.
But how long before a game do we come?
About an hour and a half.
Just an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Here, please get a problem. There's you. That guy looks identical to him.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so we do get asked, is this really a Manchester United dressing room?
What's he going to tell us?
Yes, it is. As you can see, the shirts are set out the way they would be on match day. Goalkeepers, for instance, always sit in that corner there. Then you will have the defensive players together. The middle of the room for the midfield players over in that corner. That's where the strikers, the forward players, will sit. Any other shirt in here will be a substitute shirt. And of course, there are 7 seats available for the coaching staff, assistant manager, club dots, and people like that. Behind this screen here, there's 2 tactical boards used by Oliver Solskjaer when he's explaining to the players what he wants them to do. Main tactics are always discussed well beforehand at the training ground. So these are for any last minute things he wants to get on to the players. Or he may spot something he wants to talk about, say at half time. Change things. Use these magnetic counters on the board. We can also draw on it as well. There's a TV behind here. Can be used for tactical purposes if necessary. And there's an iPod socket for playing music. The players are allowed to play music. If you ever watch teams turning up for games, you get off the coach, and they all have these headphones on there playing their favourite tunes. And they can actually do that in the dressing room as well. Through there is where the showers and the baths are. 7 showers, 2 large thermally controlled baths. Stand-up baths they are. Will accommodate 1 person stood up. Usually temperature of the water is about 2 degrees. Maybe because you're encouraged to use a very cold bath if you're carrying a soft tissue injury, or maybe you've just got lactic acid in your muscles, very tired muscles. Good idea to have a bath about freezing point for 5 or 10 minutes before you have a hot shower. Just say you I wouldn't recommend it at home. Ryan Giggs used to have one apparently virtually after every game. That's probably why he played for so long. Right, any questions? Please do come and ask me. I'll leave you to view contacts and I'll do the ultimate players
We've got about 100 photos. Yeah. You need to buy a drink, didn't you? You could have got one in here.
No, I just never would even let my son have a Red Bull before a game or ever.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good idea.
You doing a selfie? Okay.
Also got mood lighting in it, believe it or not. Think of that. Right, everybody, we're going to go to the players' tunnel now. So, everything's coming this way.
Hey, Joe, how's it Hi, Mel. Office.
Get your selfie out quick, honey.
Can you just keep your camera in your hand?
Just sorry, everybody else will do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, so this is the players' tunnel. It's also where both teams come into the stadium when they arrive. Unfortunately, at the moment, we can't go actually down the tunnel because, as you can see, they're busy setting up all the media stuff, cameras and everything for the game tomorrow. So, under health and safety, we can't allow you down the tunnel because there's all these cables and everything lying around. Unfortunately, but at least you get a chance to see them. On the wall here, these are the sponsors of Manchester United, the sponsor boards, and it's also where the managers do their TV interviews after the game. You've probably seen them stood in front of these boards. You may have thought they were in a studio, but normally they just stand in the tunnel and do their television interviews. And they could do 3 lots of interviews. They could do one for MUTV, one for BBC Match of the Day, one for Sky Sports, one for BT, depends who's covering the game. Okay. So like I say, that's where both teams come into the stadium. They don't have far to walk into the dressing rooms. So 18 dressing rooms, separate entrance next door. It's locked in there, so I can't take you in there. It's similar to the United dressing room, just a bit smaller and not quite as nice. But compared to some away team dressing rooms, it's very good. You go to some of the lower leagues, and you go to the away, well, you go to the home team dressing room. It's not as good as that dressing room in there. Right, 2 gentlemen I will mention before we depart. John Henry Davis and James Gibson, 2 former chairmen, owners of the club, who saved the club on 2 separate occasions from bankruptcy. John Henry Davis, 1902, brought us here to Old Trafford. He had this stadium built, and he changed our name to Manchester United. We used to be called Newton Heath.
Newton Heath, Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Cricket Football Club.
There we go. Changed the name to Manchester United and changed the colours that we played in as well. We used to play in green and gold half shirts. He changed it to red. And James Gibson came along in the 1930s again, pumped money into the club that we didn't have, brought Matt Busby to the club, one of our famous managers, and he introduced the youth policy to the club as well, which we still hold to this day. We try and bring youngsters from the youth team through the ranks into the first team as much as possible, such as Rashford and McTominay and Lingard. The reason this tunnel was built, I mentioned at the beginning of the tour, we've got 2 tunnels. This was built for health and safety reasons after the Hillsborough Stadium disaster. Basically, we had to have an emergency access point if we ever have any trouble at Old Trafford where we need to get ambulances, fire engines onto the pitch in an emergency. We can get them through this gate directly down here. We can lift that part of the roof area up 25 feet into the area to get vehicles underneath. So we can do that in a matter of a couple of minutes. We couldn't do that before because we didn't have a facility like this. So this is why this was built in 1993 and we abandoned the old tunnel. Alright? I'm just going to give you a slight flavour of what it sounds like on match day. This is the stadium announcer. Manchester United always line up on the left side of the tunnel.
Shame we can't go down the tunnel.
I know. I want to go do a slide on the pitch. I scored a goal.
Nearly slid then.
That's right. Yes. Corner flag. Hit the corner flag. Thank you. Oh, I'll take my shirt off.
Yeah, a bit cold for that.
It was in the moment, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then go back and clear on. Go back out. I can't afford to spend it more money.
You got floods, Jackie. It has been really torrential rain the last couple of days. Carol asked me whether I could get rid of the rain for her, but it's not happened. You can hang around it in there, Carol, in the spa.
Entire room for the
mascots.
But like, that is all fun. Oh, I hope you're right.
This is nice.
Yeah. It is Ireland, well, it is Manchester as well, isn't it?
Okay, we've got stone from right hand side of the pitch.
Where we get our laugh.
No, you're not allowed to touch it.
Eat it.
He's Scotland, is he?
No, I don't think he has.
It's raining, so.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. I see that all the time on TV.
Yeah, it's no different. It's all the same. No touching. I think this is the old tunnel. So the old one they used to use. Great. I better put my coat on and we might just be covered away now.
Anyone wants to sit on the away side? Over here.
You can't get close to the pitch, look. It's the home team. That's what the home team said.
You've actually reached the oldest part of the stadium now, which is the old tunnel. So this dates back to when the stadium was first built, 1910. And of course the ground has undergone a lot of redevelopment over the years, particularly after the Second World War. Because unfortunately, during the war, Old Trafford was destroyed by bombs. And luckily, the old tunnel built with concrete survived the bombing. So when we built the new stadium after the war, late 1940s, we built it around the old tunnel, kept that as part of the old stadium. Everything else that you see has been built since.
Wrong accent, Brenda, for doing this. There's nobody in this one, everyone wants to sit in the home one.
One other thing, down here, this is a time capsule. This was erected in 2010.
Oh, you meant me, I thought you said you could. This is the view from the... Sat down here, look, from that pitch. This is what the view of the... I did the tour with the guy. I think I did the tour with this guy once before. It's all turf, there's 3% of it is nylon turf. But this is the view of the pitch from there. You envy me.
We don't know when it's going to be brought up. It could be another 100 years. I don't think so.
So cool, he was in there.
I'm still selling the tickets, yeah. Cash only, if anybody would like to come back. In 2,100. Anybody?
So that ticket's available there.
Any questions? Because this is our last stop point. We'll take it to the mega store next. So if anybody's got any questions, please do come and ask us. And make sure you get your laptop.
Alright, I'm going to finish this, guys, here. So thanks for joining. If you're not following me, drop me a follow. We're going to head to the mega store now, in the shop. So, cheers, guys. Take care. And I will see you all soon.